Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to do my WrestleMania 39 Night 2 predictions. So if you guys have not seen it, I did my Night 1 predictions already. The link will be in the description, but today, for this video, we are going to continue where we left off and do the second night of WrestleMania 39. So, here we go. So, we are now on Sunday, April 2nd. And, so now, we're going to start off with the showcase match, the men's showcase match. First and foremost, I just want to say, so in the last video, the way I format this is basically, for the majority of this, a lot of Night 2 card is confirmed, but the order is not really confirmed with the exception of the main event for Night 2. So this is going to be a mixture of the way I think it's going to be booked and the way I kind of think it should be booked. So it's going to be kind of a mixture of that, so just keep that in mind. And again, if you, again, refer to Night 1 on my last video for any of the matches that are on Night 1. But anyways, for Night 2, here we go. This is the opening match. So for the opening match, we have the men's showcase match, which you have Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Braun Strowman being a tag team is just so weird. He should not be in a tag team. He should be a singles wrestler. But this is punishment for what he did at Saudi Arabia after, the tweet or whatever, the flippity floppers. And I can't blame WWE for doing that because that was stupid for Braun to do that. But, they got to get him out of this tag team thing. This dude is a former world champion and he's in the tag team division. You might as well bring back Nicholas at this point. Oh, yeah. You guys probably forgot about that one, did you? Anyways, so Braun Strowman and Ricochet teaming up to face the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Again, a throwaway match, really. This is just done to kind of get people that really don't have a direction for WrestleMania on the card. So, it's whatever. My prediction is Braun Strowman and Ricochet are going to win because, why not at this point. Though I will say, I don't know if we're going to get to this, so, besides my prediction on this, I think this would be kind of a perfect excuse for Randy Orton to appear and kind of jump all these guys, or jump one of them. Maybe start a feud with Braun Strowman if Randy Orton comes back from his injury. That'd be kind of a cool way to do it, but that's kind of like a prediction after the match, possibly maybe in a different match, but because there's really nothing appealing to this match. They got to do something after it. But maybe this is good. This is probably a good opening match, good solid opening match, I would say. It makes no sense, but whatever. But again, Braun Strowman and Ricochet will get the win here. Next for the second match, I got Rey Mysterio going up against Dominic Mysterio, his son. So Rey Mysterio is actually going into the Hall of Fame, even though it doesn't seem like Rey Mysterio is retiring from wrestling. At least from the way we've indicated this whole storyline, there's been no setup for that. But he is going into the Hall of Fame. It's whatever, but I just think that's kind of really weird. But nonetheless, we got Rey Mysterio, the father, going up against the son, Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio pushed Rey Mysterio over the edge, and so now they're finally fighting each other at WrestleMania. A long-term booking storyline. It's been going on for a long time now, since SummerSlam, because that's when the heel turn happened. Long-term build here. Very, very good. I kind of been liking what they've been doing to Dominic. Evolving his character, from just being the son of Rey Mysterio to actually having him have a character. I think Rey Mysterio loses here. Not because they probably want him to not lose, but because I feel like Rey Mysterio is going to put over his son. That's the only real, benefit. It doesn't matter necessarily who wins here because, the feud has been very well done. So if Rey wins, that's fine too. But I think it benefits more if Dominic Mysterio wins here because, obviously beating his father would, be a pretty good, thing for him, moving up the card or whatever. So, I got Dominic Mysterio going over here in a hopefully very good match. I really hope these two steal the show because the storyline kind of warrants it. So, really hoping for that. All right, coming up next, we have the Hell in the Cell match between the Rated R Superstar, Edge, going up against Finn Bálor, who will be the Demon King in this match. The banner hasn't been updated, but they did, talk about that on Raw. So, yeah. Edge will face Finn Balor's alter ego, the Demon King, in Hell in a Cell. And this is going to be where the feud ends. With Rey losing to Dominic, I think they're going to have Edge beat Finn Bálor here. And hopefully will be a really good match, especially since they're doing a Hell in a Cell match. And I really like this. I like that the Hell in a Cell, because Hell in a Cell are supposed to be the way you end a feud, basically. And this really warrants it. It's perfect for WrestleMania. And this will be the end of the feud. At least I think it will be. So I got Edge going over here. And hopefully another show stealer match. So yeah, that's where I would put this here. Edge gets the win. So the next match we have is the female women's showcase match. So in this match you got Liv Morgan and Ricardo Rodriguez. You got sorry about that, guys. You got Liv Morgan versus Ricardo Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi, aka C2, um, versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Again, another throwaway match that they just put together to just get the females on, just like they got the other males on, that don't really have a direction. It's whatever. Nobody's going to care about this match. As a matter of fact, most people will probably take a piss break during this match. I would imagine, since this will be right after the Hell in a Cell match. I mean, not to say you can't, but I'm just saying that this is probably the match where you would take a bathroom break. Yeah, not really expecting anything from this match. I don't think anybody's going to care. If I had to pick who would win, I would pick Liv Morgan and Ricardo Rodriguez. I don't think this match is going to really do anything. It's whatever. It's a throwaway match. Actually, scratch that. I changed my mind. I think they're going to have Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey win. They got to have the heels win, since they got to make them look somewhat strong, since Ronda was originally supposed to main event the female title match, and now she's in a mid-card match. So yeah, I changed my pick. They're gonna have those two win. So yeah, that's my prediction. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. All right, next match. So the next match we have is the Usos, who are defending the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, going up against KO and Sami Zayn, who are now reunited. I'm surprised it's the undisputed Tag Team Champions and it's not just one belt, since they have defended the title singularly before. But nonetheless, obviously a big build, whole storyline in the bloodline. Sami betrayed them, double-crossed them after the whole thing at Survivor Series in the War Game match. KO, and Sami finally reunited after, Jey Uso double-crossed Sami. Just, long-term booking. I got to give Sami a lot of credit for this. Last year at WrestleMania, he was basically buried. He was buried at last year's WrestleMania, going up against the celebrity from Jackass. And then, 2 months after WrestleMania, he was just thrown into the bloodline. And he was thrown into the bloodline not for what they ended up doing with him. He was thrown in the bloodline just so he could be the guy that loses matches for the bloodline, the Joker, basically. And he took that and he turned it into a serious thing. And then, of course, while he was a part of the bloodline, Triple H took over creative, and he just made it even better, than it originally probably was going to be under Vince. I got to imagine if Vince had been around throughout the whole process of this year for this bloodline storyline, there's no way it would have lasted this long. Because when Vince put Sami in the bloodline, it wasn't for him to actually be a real member, which is how it started. It wasn't for him to be a real member. Like, it was just supposed to be a joke thing for a while until they eventually got rid of him. That would have been Vince McMahon's decision. Triple H took this and was like, we're going to make this into something even better than it actually is. And they did that. This is probably one of Triple H's best things. He took a joke storyline originally, and he turned it into a serious thing. And it was long-term. He gave credit to Sami Zayn for making it work and making it last. And, Sami got over. I mean, he's really over right now. For someone at last year's WrestleMania that literally looked like a joke. I mean, he was in a freaking, what was that stupid mousetrap bullshit thing? I was so pissed about that last year. Like, I don't care. I hate when they do that shit. I hate when they make the wrestlers look like morons against the celebrities. I just hate it. You know, and I'm not saying just because of Sami Zayn. I'm saying this, like, because they've done this before. You know, they made Sami a joke. Like, and literally Sami, like, is a completely different wrestler now. Like, he went from being a complete joke to someone who actually can be a contender for the world title at some point. Like, legitimately. I mean, he legitimately was a contender, you know, at last month's pay-per-view against Roman Reigns. And you could actually believe it. It's just amazing. I would have never thought that would have happened. I could never have pictured that happening in a million years. When they did that whole thing in WrestleMania with Sami Zayn and the Jackass whole thing, I thought there was no coming back from that. There's no fucking coming back from it. He will forever be a Santino Marella type character after that. I was like, there's no fucking way he comes back from that. And he did. It was just amazing how in less than a year he was able to do that. It's just amazing. But yeah, this is a combination of a lot of things. I know a lot of people wanted Sami to be in the world title match, but I don't think he was as over as Daniel Bryan. Like, people were comparing him to the Daniel Bryan of 2014. And if you guys really think that, you literally weren't paying attention to the show in 2014, because it was a completely different situation. Completely different situation. There was nobody at that time besides Daniel Bryan that the fans wanted to main event. This year, you had Cody Rhodes, who was over. You know, there was no way that you could go away from what Cody was, because the people weren't booing Cody Rhodes. You know, so I don't think it was the same situation. So I think this was the right call. Get a little off track here, but my prediction for this match is for KO and Sami Zayn to take the tag team titles away from the Usos. Usos had it for a long time. I don't know how long Sami and KO will have it for, but they need to win them here. And it will set the stage for what's going to come later on in the show. You know, and that's why you have this. That's why you have this match at the middle of the show. You don't have this right before the main event. You have this in the middle of the show. So, you know, you go into this, you know, feeling a little indifferent. So that's my prediction. KO and Sami Zayn will be the new Undisputed Tag Team Champions. Next, we have Gunther defending the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther's had the championship for a very long time now. Excuse me. I mean, he's closing. He's almost. I think he's 2 months away from a year. Since he did win the Intercontinental title on SmackDown. But ever since SummerSlam, Gunther's Intercontinental Championship reign has gotten a lot better. He, you know, when he first won this title, you know, the Intercontinental title was a joke. Literally, nobody was defending the title on pay-per-view. You just kind of had the title just to have the title. There was literally no point to having the Intercontinental title because it would always be overshadowed by other feuds that were going on. That was always Vince McMahon's booking philosophy, was to have other feuds that would overshadow going for the Intercontinental title, which also, again, diminished the mid-card title. And that's what they've been doing for years with the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title. But Triple H has, and this is one of the things Triple H has done really good at, is he's made it that the Intercontinental and the U.S. title are important. Like, that they, you know, that the feuds should revolve around these titles. You know, if you want to have a personal rivalry feud, it should revolve around the Intercontinental title. And that is what Triple H has kind of done since he took over. And so ever since he took over, Gunther's title reign has been much better. Not to say that he wasn't doing that good as the Intercontinental Champion under Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon did let him win the title against Ricochet. But he had him win it on a SmackDown, and he had him, originally he was, chopping his own buddy, as we all know, or he was forcing himself to, allow him to chop him or whatever. They slowly got rid of that once Triple H took over. And now they're being more serious with the Intercontinental title. Gunther's done very good. But I think it's time to end the title reign. I don't see Gunther beating the Honky Tonk Man's record. I don't think they should have him beat the Honky Tonk Man's record. I think they should keep that record intact. Too many records are getting broken lately, and I think you really should kind of avoid that. Gunther's already had the record. He already has the record in the 20th century, or the 21st century. I'm sorry, the 21st century. He already has the record in the 21st century as the longest Intercontinental Championship. The only people he hasn't beaten are the only Intercontinental Champions that he hasn't surpassed yet are people from the 20th century right now. So for me, in my vantage point, I think this is where you have Gunther lose. Who do we pick here? Do we pick Sheamus or do we pick Drew McIntyre? I think you go with Sheamus. I think this is going to be a shock to everyone. I think you give it to Sheamus because Sheamus has not won the Intercontinental title before. It's the one title he hasn't won, I believe, yet. He won the U.S. title, but he hasn't won the Intercontinental. So I think you give it to Sheamus here in a shocking fashion. You do some trick foolery, where, it looks like Gunther's going to win, but then Sheamus kind of comes in out of nowhere and pins Drew McIntyre and wins the title. So that way Gunther doesn't actually, he doesn't actually lose the title. He loses the title, but he didn't actually was involved in the decision to lose the title, and they could kind of sell on that whole thing, that Gunther didn't actually lose, wasn't involved in the decision to lose the title, and it goes into the storyline that they're kind of saying, Gunther saying, this is not fair that I have to go up against two different people, and whatnot. So it kind of goes into the storyline, and essentially that Gunther can say that he, he wasn't involved in the decision, it wasn't fair. And it still keeps that aura going on with Gunther because Gunther obviously, in the Royal Rumble, he was number one, and he made it all the way to literally the end against Cody Rhodes, who was number 30. He was in the final two with Cody. And even though he got eliminated by Cody, he was right up there on the cusp. So he's already established himself as the second coming, the next guy up for that world title. So here I don't think he needs it, the Intercontinental title anymore. So I think you have him lose it, but you have Sheamus pin Drew McIntyre. So he loses the title, but he's not involved in the decision. I think it is a perfect way to get the title off of him and then set his sights eventually for the World Championship, which we'll get to that main event very, very soon on who will be winning that. But, that's how I think you get it. You give Sheamus the win here. That's my prediction. So next, we have Bianca Belair defending her Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. And if you guys have not watched my last video on this, I did mention this briefly. The both women's world title matches have been booked so poorly this year. The Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley match has been booked poorly, and Bianca Belair versus Asuka has been booked poorly. And personally, I think, again, as I said in the last video, if you're going to have Trish Stratus at a WrestleMania, why not have her face Bianca Belair? Because, again, Bianca Belair, to me, beating Trish Stratus at a WrestleMania is more, it helps her more in her career than her beating Asuka. Because unless you're having Asuka go over here, which I don't think they are, I know Bianca's had the title for now about a year, but again, they kind of threw that out of the window with, Roman Reigns, having the title for 900 days now. So I think Bianca Belair does go over here and wins this match. It will be, a back and forth match, but again, I don't know what exactly this does for Bianca. Her beating Asuka. I mean, Asuka to me is not a top tier contender. I mean, like compared to the other established female main eventers, she's good, but I never looked at her as being someone in the same class as Charlotte, Becky, Bianca, Trish, Lita, those female like stars that they have. Sasha, obviously Sasha Banks is not there anymore, but I never viewed Asuka in that same class. And so if you're going to have Trish Stratus at this WrestleMania, like why are you not having Trish versus Bianca? And having Trish put over Bianca? I just think it's a total missed opportunity for the WWE here. My prediction is obviously Bianca Belair wins this match. All right. And finally, the main event of night 2, the one that we've all been waiting for. 900-day champion Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion and the WWE Champion. But he's been the Universal Champion for 900 days. He's been the WWE Champion for almost a year now. But they only kind of mention him being the champion for 900 days because that's the title that he's been longer, even though he's, he actually hasn't unified these titles, even though they advertised it at last year's WrestleMania. He's holding them both concurrently, which means both title reigns have their own reigns. Roman Reigns going up against the undisputed Roman Reigns defending his undisputed title against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, made his return at the Royal Rumble match and the pay-per-view to get this shot at WrestleMania. The build's been pretty solid. I think they could have been a little better with it. But, of course, obviously with the circumstances with Sami Zayn, they kind of had to incorporate all this stuff together with Sami involved because of the stuff that happened at the last pay-per-view with Sami and Roman. They had to kind of involve that. Cody had to bring them back together, Sami and KO. I know a lot of people are thinking that, well, Roman Reigns is so close to 1,000 days, why not have him keep the title? If you think that, you really don't understand the booking perspective here. Cody Rhodes is a massively over babyface. And people say, oh, well, he can wait until SummerSlam to win the title. No. If he loses here, Cody loses all the credibility of being that top babyface. He needs to win here at WrestleMania 39. He has to win. If he doesn't win, you ruin the credibility of Cody. You ruin the credibility. It won't matter if he wins at SummerSlam because no one will care. People will start booing. You'll fall into the same issue that Tony Khan and AEW got when he lost to Chris Jericho. Remember when he lost to Chris Jericho? Everyone was like, oh, they'll find a way to, get him the title back. They'll make a stipulation where they can reverse it or whatever in another match. No, they never did. And Cody ultimately left because of that. Cody's credibility was shot after losing to Chris Jericho with that stipulation. All right? And even winning the TNT title, didn't really help because eventually people were sick of it and people started booing him. Cody cannot lose here. If Cody loses here, WWE are stupid because they will ruin him. They will ruin him just like they ruined him in AEW. Okay? He needs to win here. He's a babyface. He's a massive babyface. You have to have Cody go over here. All right? Roman has to lose. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be back and forth. There's going to be a bunch of false finishes. But in the end, wrestling has only one, wrestling has more than one royal family, which I'm really surprised, by the way, they didn't really kind of sell that also, and more than they should have. I mean, obviously they were talking about Cody's dad a lot in this, but they really should have sold more on the whole, theme song of Cody, wrestling having more than one royal family. I think that could have been a really good thing to tell because Roman is obviously from a wrestling family and Cody is from a wrestling family, multiple generations. So I think they really lacked in the telling of that story. But again, they had to kind of go in the whole Sami Zayn thing, which was unavoidable. But in the end, Cody Rhodes will reign supreme and win the Undisputed championship. And hopefully, he just continues with the WWE championship and he relinquishes that Universal championship. Or they just kind of get rid of the Universal championship and they bring back the big gold belt for SmackDown. And they crown a new champion there. But regardless of what happens, Cody Rhodes will win this match. Hopefully this is a very good match, just like the Seth Rollins match last year he had. But nonetheless, I cannot wait for this main event. But yeah, my prediction is obviously the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, goes over. He has to win this match, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He has to win. None of this Roman Reigns 1,000-day bullshit is going to happen. Get that out of your head. It's not happening. If it does, it's the stupidest decision ever because it ruins Cody's push. And I tell you right now, it will ruin his push. He can't have no redemption after that. That's it. He's red hot right now. He has to win it. Who else is Roman going to lose the title to? He's beaten everybody. There's no one else left. Cody is the only credible person right now that can beat him. You got to have Cody win here. So that's my prediction, guys, for Night 2, WrestleMania 39. Make sure to comment, rate, hit that notification bell for all the latest contents. Yeah, guys, that is about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace! Also, besides my YouTube channel, make sure to follow me on my Twitch, SS Ultimate Goku, Instagram, also SS Ultimate Goku. Also, I do have my Discord link in the description for, obviously, sports, wrestling, anime, cartoons, live action, movies, TV series, all that good stuff in my Discord server, so make sure to go there as well. And now I'm out. Peace, everybody.